everyone, I'm Claire. Welcome back. Today I am going to be doing my first ever book haul. Oh, but first I wanted to give you a quick update on the eclipse. If you didn't watch my video from last week, I drove up to Oregon to try and see the total eclipse on Monday. It was super cloudy when we woke up, which was not looking too good, and then the clouds burned off for the whole partial eclipse. Totality, totally clear, amazing. I definitely encourage you to check out the video about Annie Dillard's essay on the total eclipse. And yeah, I would highly encourage you to chase any eclipses in your area in the coming years and decades. So the first book I picked up this month was a complete out of left field impulse buy at my bookstore, and that is Pioneer Girl Perspectives, Exploring Laura Ingalls Wilder. So this book is full of critical-ish essays that address Pioneer Girl, which is Laura Ingalls Wilder's autobiography that she wrote prior to writing any of the Little House books. So I read most of the Little House books when I was in elementary school, and I was particularly a big fan of Little House in the Big Woods because I grew up in Wisconsin near the woods, and I'm actually going home soon and was kind of thinking about Wisconsin literature and the Little House books, and then saw this at my bookstore and decided to pick it up because I've never really read any sort of critical scholarship about Laura Ingalls Wilder. I'm thinking about doing a sort of revisiting Laura Ingalls Wilder video in the future anyway, so maybe I will get more in depth into this content further down the line. So it was while I was revisiting Laura Ingalls Wilder and the Little House books that I started to think about the sort of untold and less popular stories about the frontier, specifically stories from the perspectives of the Native Americans who were being pushed off the land that Laura Ingalls Wilder and her family were settling in the 1800s. I went and picked up The Life of Black Hawk, dictated by himself and edited by J. Gerald Kennedy. Black Hawk was a member of the Sauk American Indian tribe. He eventually became a well-known warrior and leader of the Sauk tribe during the Black Hawk War of 1832. This account is particularly noteworthy because it was the first published account of the American government's war of extermination, and it was the first account from the perspective of one of the victims. Apparently it is a quite harsh, unflinching, and uncompromising account of the aggressions and hostility and cruelty of the U.S. government and U.S. soldiers. So in that sense, it's a really important historical document. I'm also personally interested in it because where I'm from in Wisconsin is part of the area where the Black Hawk War of 1832 took place. There are statues of him on Main Street in my town. I was already looking for more Native American authors, but I thought that this would be a good place to start and a good contrast to some of the Little House stuff I've been doing recently too. The next book I picked up this month is Girl Meets Boy by Ali Smith. So everyone and their mother has been reading Autumn in the last year. I've been in the bookstore a few times and picked up Autumn and read the first couple of pages, and I was like, I don't really think this is for me. I don't know if the experimental quality that I understand her writing to be, or like the stream of consciousness that she seems to be into, is really my bag. But I wanted to give her a try because so many people on BookTube love Ali Smith, and I was like, I need to try this out. I mean, you know, I don't need to, but I wanted to. So I picked up Girl Meets Boy because, you know, I was like, even if I'm not into it, I think I can get through it. It's like pretty, you know. So I already read this one. I have some thoughts. I'll talk about it in my August wrap-up. I don't know, guys. I don't know if Ali Smith is the one for me. I don't know if this was the right Ali Smith book to start with, so if people have other recommendations that they think might be better, I would love to hear your pitch for Ali Smith, because at this point I'm not like rushing out the front door to like collect her, you know, entire bibliography. So the next two books that I got this month, I got from Book Depository, and the first one is Milk and Honey by Rupi Kaur. I'm sure you guys have seen this book. If you haven't, I don't know like what planet you're living on. It's been on the New York Times bestseller list. It's all over my bookstore. It's all over Instagram. My friends have been sharing it, and I was like, cool, I'm gonna read this book because it seems like everyone really loves it. Yeah, I have some thoughts about this book, guys, like thoughts with a capital fucking T. In case you don't know, this is a collection of poetry written and illustrated by Rupi Kaur, who is a Canadian artist who is of Indian descent and is also part of the Sikh community. I really did not like this book. I thought it was kind of garbage. I'm definitely going to talk about it in my wrap-up, and I think I'm going to do a full review. And the other book I got on Book Depository is another super popular book, especially on BookTube, and that is Tin Man by Sarah Winman. Okay, I don't even remember what this book is about, you guys. I've just seen it fucking everywhere. And I caved. I caved the same way I caved with The Essex Serpent and The Tidal Zone. I don't know, guys, like Jen Campbell cried in her review of it, and then I was like, I guess I should get this book. I don't know, though. It's short. I feel like it might be a nice read. I'm just trying to keep my expectations low because I don't want to be disappointed if this book is just fine. But we'll see. But wow, there you go. That's the power of BookTube, right? Next up is The Portable 19th Century African American Women Writers. This is an anthology edited by Hollis Robbins and Henry Louis Gates Jr. This book just came out last month, and I saw it on the NPR display of my local bookstore and just bought it. It features writing from 49 different women of the era, writing before, during, and after the Civil War, and it touches on topics including feminism, education, civil rights, and from my understanding, all of the essays really in some way or another explore the intellectual ideas and ambitions of these Black women. One of the editors is Henry Louis Gates Jr., who you might be familiar with from the PBS show Finding Your Roots. He is a powerhouse, prolific scholar and academic. He's co-founder of The Root, so I was like, this is probably going to be a solid read, you know, I trust this source. And last but not least, this is Toward Democracy by James T. Kloppenberg. I believe that this is what the BookTube community would refer to as a chunky book. To be honest, the reason I picked up this book is that it's related-ish, sort of, to some of the stuff that I studied in college. I went to a talk maybe like 3 years ago where James T. Kloppenberg was talking about writing this book. I think he worked on it for a really, really long time and initially wanted to write a book about American democracy, and then he was like, oh, but if I like want to write about democracy like thoroughly, I'll definitely need to go back to Athens. That's why it's so fucking big. I think that what he was talking about when I went to the talk, when this book was still a work in progress, he was talking about how democracy only works if there is sort of this ethic of reciprocity. I think that that'll be interesting to read about, given, you know, what's going on with American democracy right now and the sort of slow undermining of pretty important democratic institutions and ideals. I don't know when I'm gonna get to this book, you guys. Maybe someday. Yeah, this was a fun book haul. Next week, I will be going home to Wisconsin, so I will be broadcasting from a different location. If you have read any of the books that I mentioned today, if you are interested in any of the books, let me know in the comments below, and I will see you next time, guys.